Welcome back to the Football Terrace. This is the packed lunch for you today, delving into some of the biggest stories circulating, the biggest opinions going around, doing the rounds on social media relating to football. We want your views. We want your opinions right here, right now. But smash that like button. Give it a smash right now. Give it a smash. Give it a smash. For us, please, ladies and gentlemen. We have a comment that's come in here for a man like CFC Gem that says, member for 15 months, squad member. It says, started here 15 months ago. Big up, Terry, as always. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, bro. And I'm not too sure why that comment is not coming up on my screen for me to put out. But there we go. I don't know where it's gone. I can't see it on my StreamYard link, but I can see it on YouTube. So it's, it's very weird. It isn't coming through. Thank you, Remy, for signing up and becoming a member as well. Make sure you're getting that done. We're here for the next 15, 20 minutes or so to have a say. Terry, your trim is growing on me. Listen, the bald head's a good look, but I am getting a hair transplant. I'm openly admitting to that. I am getting a hair transplant. Let me just put that out there now. That's a big breaking news today. I'm going to get it done. 110%. It's going to be happening. Right. So let's delve into some of the news today for you. The Ligt to Chelsea. We're going to go into that in a little bit more detail. What's been said, what is really going on. There's a lot of claims today. Gary Neville being one of the sort of people at the forefront of this. Ronaldo is putting massive pressure upon Gunnar Solskjaer to win. United play West Ham tonight. I'm going to give you my take on that. Tomas Partey injury update as well. There was a thought that maybe he was going to be out and maybe he was going to miss more, etc., etc., etc. So want to do that as well. Remember, Friday night on the terrace is back this week. It's going to be a big, big week as well. And we have synchronization, ladies and gentlemen. We did so many tests last night. We got the synchronization working. So we'll be in that studio ready and roaring to go this Friday. But what I need from you right now is to smash that like and that share button. And one of my reasons, by the way, a few people ask about the hair transplant. The reason I'm going to do it is, one, I legit just want to see how it looks. Like, really and truly, I want to see how it looks. I want to see how it feels. I want to see how I feel personally with it. But actually, the biggest reason for wanting to do it is I think it's still a very taboo subject. And I think a lot of young men struggle with mental health issues due to losing their hair, how they feel, their confidence, across life. So I kind of want to show people that, one, if you go to the right places, you can improve it. And if it makes you feel better, if it makes you more confident, if it improves your life, don't be afraid to go and do it. Don't be scared of the kind of banter that comes with it. Like, honestly, I'm one of these people. I'm not a bit of a legit, right? I'm not legitimately a someone that thinks, like, I think banter and taking the mickey out of people is fine in certain areas. What I'm really confused about in society is that how taking the mickey out of somebody's weight, which generally speaking they control, is deemed taboo and almost like cancelable. You can be cancelled for it. But yet someone that loses their hair, which is generally speaking out of their control, it's okay to mimic it. I do find it weird that hasn't been picked up yet. But maybe it's because it's an attack on men. I don't know. And it's not looked at as punching down, which I've always found a very weird concept in itself. But listen, Terry, you still have better hair than KJ. There we go. Listen, smash that like and share button. We're going to delve into these stories. Jem will be joining us soon as well. But let's get this stream past at least 500 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. So the first story today, the Ligt to Chelsea. I read this yesterday afternoon and I sort of delved into it and I looked, and I saw it on the Sports Witness website, and it essentially says that Chelsea is set to target Matthijs de Ligt after failing to get Jules Kounde. So the Blues have submitted a substantial bid for Kounde, but they couldn't get the deal done. It says an Italian outlet now write that Chelsea have turned their attention to the Juve and the Netherlands centre-back de Ligt. It says the 22-year-old has a potential to become one of the best centre-backs in the world. That's why he was purchased for, I think it was nearly £70 million a couple of years ago. However, they may have a fight to keep him with, of course, his contract slowly running down. And this is what's interesting. Is de Ligt going to sign a new deal at Juve? It remains to be seen. By the end of next season, he's 3 years into what I think was a 5-year contract. Juve have got to start thinking about a new deal. There are reports that a bid somewhere in the region of like 130 million pound maybe made. And for me, you know, the Ligt has a release clause. I think it was revealed by Fabrizio not long ago that, you know, has a release clause which comes into play next summer for about 130 million pound. I have to be really honest about this story. I think there's one thing talking about the Ligt having a release clause, and there is another thing Chelsea buying him. Chelsea have had their sights set on Jules Kounde for a number of years. They've scouted him very, very hard indeed. I don't necessarily think right now the Ligt is a player that is head and shoulders above Jules Kounde. I don't care what we thought about him 2 years ago. He hasn't pushed on to that next level. The Ligt for me hasn't gone on to be, and I know he's only 22 still, and there's a long, long way to go. But I don't see Chelsea Football Club dropping 130. I don't see him dropping 80 million pound on the Ligt when by next summer you may be able to pick up Jules Kounde for somewhere in the region of 45 to 50 million pounds. So for me, it's an interesting story. But I don't see him dropping it. There's a comment here from Mo that says the Ligt is clear. And maybe for some people he is. But 130 million? Nah. Maybe if they can get the Ligt for 70, 80, maybe they would look at it and say, you know, better option than Jules Kounde. But one of the reasons for Jules Kounde was his ability to play centre-back and full-back. There was a definitive reason. You've got Aspie that's growing old. Of course, you've got Reece James in the team, but it was being able to utilize. Imagine having Reece James and Jules Kounde with the way that Thomas Tuchel plays. He can play a flat back four when needed, and if you had a back three with wing backs, you could vary it. If you've got to rest Reece James one week and you've got no cover at fullback, you put Jules Kounde into that position. You know, bring in a Chalobah or somebody to go into that centre back role. The options that I think you limit yourself a little bit with the Ligt. I really do think you limit yourself a little bit. The only other option would be is if Chelsea change their mind, Tuchel changes their mind, and they don't want that versatility and they want to go after an absolute superstar centre-back. But for me, I just don't see it being, and I don't even want to be rude, I just don't see it being valid, if that makes sense. I just don't see it. I just don't see it myself. But look, I would love your views. I would love your opinions. I would love to know what you think and feel. Get those comments in, ladies and gentlemen. But that's the news around it. I'm going to be adding Gem to the share. A lot of people are saying, look, 130, no way. I completely agree. Terry Raiola is his agent. No, thank you. And I understand that. Man like Matt here says, Terry, check my DMs. Yeah, you messaged me. Do you know what, bruv? Let's try and get it booked in for next week. Next week, Monday. I think I'll be able to get that done for you. So I'll message you later. I'll be able to get in the show next week, Monday, I think. I've got some free time there. Going to get Jem on now to have his say with us as well and join the show. Jem, welcome back, mate. How you doing?
Not bad. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I mean, what's your take on this news surrounding the Ligt? Do you see any validation in it? Would you like him? Is he worth 100+ million pounds?
Firstly, before we do that, when you decide to get your hair sorted, I'm assuming you're going to go Turkey. Give me a heads up. I'll come with you. You're probably going to need someone to translate anyway. So I'm
not going Turkey. I'm going to be doing it in a place in London, actually. Yeah. But I was going to go Turkey, but there's a place that I'm talking to, which we're going to do a deal with. So it's going to be great. Go on, mate.
Yeah, in terms of the Ligt, it's an interesting one, Terry, because I think when you look at our average age of our defence, Christensen being 25, nearly 26, and then other than him, or obviously Chalobah's very young, but Thiago Silva nearly pushing 37, Rudiger's 28, pushing 29, Aspie's 32, 33, I think. They're all pushing it. And one thing that I think Chelsea will start to look to do is bring in young defenders. A Kounde, for example. Kounde coming in, I still think that can happen. The Ligt's interesting. Did you say they're saying 130 million for the Ligt?
Well, there's a buyout clause of 130 million pounds. So I mean, look, I think you got to look at Juve's season. It depends what happens, because if they don't improve soon, you may be able to pick him up cheaper. But if they want to, I just don't see you dropping 130 million pound on a 22-year-old centre back.
I don't think we would. But at the same time, I don't think the thing we've got to bear in mind is going into next season, there's a good chance that Thiago Silva might move on. Aspie might lay off. Rudiger might go to Real Madrid. We still don't know, depending if Chelsea can get this contract agreed with him at a wage that he wants and we want at the same time. We need not only one. I think we're going to end up needing about at least 2 or 3 defenders. We're only going to be left with Christensen and Chalobah as our defenders. Do you know what I mean? Zuma's already been let off as well. So I think it's important that depending on what Chelsea do going into summer and who stays, who goes, I still think it's going to be important that we bring in for the future, and not only just one. I think maybe at least two defenders.
Mate, I hear you on that. I do think it's going to be important, like looking forward and everything else that's kind of going on. I just get this feeling that did it think like Kounde still the main guy, and I think Chelsea fans shouldn't lose sight of that. He is still the main guy that they want to focus on. But viewers, we want your thoughts and we want your feelings in relation to what's going on. Next story, we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo and the pressure that he is applying to Ollie and Manchester United. Smash that like and share button. Let's go. Well, according to Gary Neville and a lot of other people, and I'll read the headline here from Gary, that Cristiano Ronaldo is a make or break transfer for Manchester United boss Solskjaer. He goes on to say that essentially it's lots of pressure upon him as a manager, and he now has to deliver. He now has to win. He now has to sort of get trophies over the line and really focus on those major ones. Viewers, I'd like your views. I'd like your thoughts on this. Do you agree with what Gary Neville was saying? Does this apply additional pressure? Can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer live up to the expectations that now any club that look, Ronaldo's proven already 4 goals in 3 games.
Yeah.
He's still legit. You know, people say he's slow. He clocked up the biggest speed on the pitch on Sunday, over 20 miles an hour that he's running. Seeing 21 miles an hour he was running. Like people talk about him he's probably a little bit slower over the first couple of yards than he was when he was 28, and that's normal. But overall, like he's been the best player in the Premier League since he arrived. Like in those 3 games, do you feel there should be massive pressure now applied to Ollie to get United over the line?
Yes, to a degree. I think that Cristiano Ronaldo relevant to his age, because you look at him, his physicality, he looks after himself. I think having a player like him in your squad automatically allows you to challenge, especially when you got to bear in mind, you kept Paul Pogba, you got Bruno Fernandes, you strengthened at the back with Varane as well, who, you know, next to Maguire should be a better defensive you should be a lot more compact going forward. But in terms of Cristiano Ronaldo, the guy, it doesn't matter wherever he goes, he will score goals. And this thing about how he's a tapping merchant is ridiculous, because at the end of the day, he's at a point now where, yes, he doesn't run around a lot. He doesn't need to. What he has got is he's got a very good understanding of where to position himself in the box, or where to be in the box. And when you've got Bruno and Pogba and you've got Sancho, who isn't even clicked yet, he even started. We've not seen Sancho. When you've got players around him that can do the runs, that can pick them balls out, all he has to do is make sure that he's in the right areas, and he will score. He will score 20 plus goals, Terry. That in itself should push you forward to challenge. I think you should be challenging with him, and it is the pressure on Ollie. Yeah, because Ronaldo will score you goals. It's just how well can you be defensively would be the thing with you guys. Are you going to win games, or are you going to win games?
Yeah, of course. I mean? And I think as well, look, we've got to see how he performs, how he scores against some of the bigger teams. And that test is coming up very, very soon. But I love the tap-in merchant tag that is connected to him. Because the reason I love that is because if being a tap-in merchant was so easy, and that's how he scores all these goals, why are other strikers not scoring that amount of goals? There is an art to it, and this is where, like, I get the banter. If you're a Man United fan, or you're a person that rates Cristiano Ronaldo, don't allow yourself to be triggered by key stage 1 football analysis, because to just like break it right down again. There's a comment here from Mo saying he's always been a tapping merchant. Well, I've seen a lot of goals from Ronaldo. His overhead kick against Juve in the Champions League, as an example. His counter-attack goal against Arsenal in the Champions League for Man United. Those goals were about 10 years apart. So in that time period, we know he isn't a tapping merchant. But even if he is, if being a tapping merchant was so easy, every striker would be scoring at Cristiano Ronaldo's goal rate. If what Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't almost specific to him, his skill set was amazing. His ability to read the game, anticipate, know where the ball's going to be. In some respects, just put the work effort in to make sure that he is at that back post or he's in front of the goalie for any slip-ups every single time. That in itself just deserves praise. So I look at it this way. Are there players that score more goals that are better aesthetically to look at? Yes. But trust me, I'll take 10 tap-ins over 5 screamers every day in a week.
Does it actually matter, Terry? If you win the league because he scores most of his goals in the box, are Man United fans going to care if he's been tagged as a tap-in merchant? Like, it's only rivals that are trying to drag that across because there's nothing else we can actually say about the guy. The guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, mate, exactly. But on the Ronaldo thing, we're going to have David to the stream in a minute as well. I do think there has to be pressure upon Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think Man United fans must apply that pressure for us to win. And interestingly, we haven't been scintillating in all moments of games in recent weeks, but it's our best start to a league campaign under Ole, 13 points. The best we had under it was 8, so we're 5 points better off than we've been at any other stage. We're currently tracking towards 98 goals in the Prem. That will slow down. We're not scoring 98 goals in the Premier League, in my opinion. But we've scored a lot to begin with. But the thing for me, the chances are there. And I put a tweet out earlier, which people have nitpicked over because I've included 3 of Bruno's goals before Ronnie arrived, but they've not listened to the video. They haven't clicked on the link and watched the full content. And I'm not accountable for people that don't want to listen to our full content. But people have said Bruno will slow up because Ronaldo's here. Bruno's scored 1 goal and got 1 assist in the 3 games, right? So if an attacking midfielder scores and assists, it gets 2 goal contributions every 3 games, they're having an amazing season. However, his chances created, he should have had 2 assists against West Ham. But the first shot was saved and then subsequent tapping went in afterwards. And there was that through ball that he played to Ronaldo where Fabianski made a great save. So you sort of look at it like Bruno's going to keep creating. You've got Sancho, like you've mentioned. Rashford's going to return. And Rashford, for me, is going to be an absolute animal when he returns because he's going to come back fully fit. And he wasn't for the second half of last season. So there has to be pressure applied to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's got the firepower. It's can he structure his teams to win those points that last year we drew or lost in. An extra 15 points this season could make Man United champions and should definitely make us title challengers. We're going to add David. I've got a few. I've not seen these before. They're comments for people who maybe their memberships like kind of renewed. So we had one from yourself earlier. Yeah. One from Lee here says, "Big up Terry. I trust our Chelsea scouting team and Marina in what they want to get in for our team." I hear you on that, Lee, and thank you. 3 months as a legend and super fan. Zubair as 3 months as a squad member says, "Big up Jem and congratulations on getting married." So that was all for you, buddy. Got one here from TJ that says Ronaldo is doing his job, scoring goals, period. And yeah, if people are then moaning about the type of goals that he scores, it shows that he's doing a great job. Ronaldo playing at Penchester with Fernandes. Yet we're joint top of the league with no penalties yet this season. So it's great. It's amazing. David's here joining us now to have his say also on some of these matters. David, before we move on to the next subjects, because these are shorter shows we're doing here, the packed lunches. Your take, should there be big pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in your view?
Oh, I've said it from the start. Of course there should be. Like, you can't finish second last season, add the second greatest player of all time, then all your fans claim that it brings a brand new mentality to your squad and all your players are suddenly going to improve and be that much better and then not challenge. That doesn't make any sense. Regardless of what Chelsea do, regardless of what City do, you still have to be there at the end of the season. And for me, like, even if you win, it has to. The minimum you can win is an FA Cup. That's the minimum. If he wins a Carabao Cup, for me, it's not enough.
No, mate, I agree. That's nowhere near, nowhere near enough. There needs to be so much more. There is so much more that needs to be that needs to be won. And just it's not. Do you know what? I would rather. I mean, I know everyone says trophies, and I do get the trophy thing, but legitimately, and I mean this, and I'm not trying to trigger anybody. Legitimately, I would rather come second in the league by 1 point and get to a Champions League semi-final than come fourth and win a League Cup. Because people will say, "Oh, that's lowering the standards." No, I'm looking at my longer term ambition. Does that make sense? I'm looking at the fact that I want to be I want to win Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. As I said it last night, for a team to become great, and I've doubled down on it since last night. There should be precursors. Winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues is part of it. Then it's going back-to-back Premier Leagues, and then it's adding in multiple trophy seasons. Until a core team over a 5-6 year period has done that, I don't consider them great. That's what I want to aim for. Picking up League Cups and FA Cups is nice. It is nice, but if the team isn't anywhere near ready to start winning the major trophies, when you're a club like Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, in this current contemporary setting, it just isn't good enough. So, yeah, I want to put big pressure on him indeed. Twisted Bubba here, his membership, 10 months now as a member, as a legend and super fan. It says, Terry, when will Sancho, the greatest young creative player, even start contributing? It'll start soon. There's no doubt about it at all. Super chat here says, Terry, will you have a watch along for the game on the 27th of November? I know you normally don't, but that's a special game, Chelsea versus Manchester United. We may do something at the studio. Obviously, we were trying to get the synchronization working right, and I want to try and actually show people something here. I want to try and show people something here if I can do this. We got the sync working last night. We did there till the early hours of the morning. We got it right first time, but then we just stayed testing. It turns out, do you want to hear this? This is what it was. It was the computer we were using, but the spec of the computer says that it should be good enough. I feel like, I don't know, they've given us a dud. I run the test on my gaming laptop, which has a much lower spec, and it worked perfectly. So it's, be very careful when you buy it. We're sending it, we rung the company today, and we're like, have you put the wrong graphics card and processors in? No, definitely not. And we're like, well, why isn't it working? But this is Friday night. I want to show everyone, because I'm really excited about this. We were in sync Friday night, 6 p.m. This is going to come up on the screen now. Look at this, in sync. Friday at 6 p.m. The North London derby is here. Nuno versus Mikel Arteta. This studio is going to be filled with some of the best Tottenham and Arsenal fans across social media previewing that game. And as an added bonus, Man City and Chelsea play this weekend, and we're going to take an in-depth look into that game as well. So, yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Friday night on the terrace with sync sound. I can't tell you how happy that makes me in my little heart. I was so happy to get that done last night. But there we go. Next story we're going to delve into. Terry having an I like that. There we go. I went home, legit was on my way home, and I was like, this is like the best news ever. Oh, there's a comment here. This is from, that says Laporte and John Stones are facing 2 weeks out for Manchester City. Oh. You love to, as long as it isn't like life threatening, you love to see it. Next story though, Thomas Partey back for Arsenal, and a wrap up on the show. Get your super chats in. David and Jem here with me for the Pack Lunch, the second episode of Pack Lunch. Let's do it, boys. There we go. Thomas Partey, the news today, he's back fit. He's ready and raring to go for Arsenal, which I think's exciting for them and their fans. I want to get your take on it, boys, because I don't know if you guys will be in the studio Friday or whatever to kind of give your thoughts. But North London derby's coming. Obviously, it's really important for Arsenal and Tottenham this game. Like, how do you see that game going?
I'm not sure, because I think they're as bad as each other.
Yeah,
I think they are just as bad as each other. I've said it for years now. Arsenal and Spurs is its own mini league. No matter what either of them teams does, they always end up right next to each other at the end of the season. One being like, "Oh, we're better than you," but realistically, they're both 7th and 8th anyway. For me, Partey, even though he's a good player, I just don't think he's going to work out at Arsenal. There's just something about him and Arsenal that I don't think is going to mesh very well. But if I'd put money on it, I would say probably Spurs, because I think Kane and Son's better than what Arsenal have. But it will be a boring like 1-0, or it will be crazy 3-3 Eric Dyer mistakes. Tierney will fall over for like out of nowhere and just gift Serge Aurier, who magically signed for Arsenal this week, and he'll be playing on the Arsenal. It'll be just something ridiculous. That's just how Arsenal and Spurs are. Literally, it's a flick of a coin. It's
a flick of a coin. And I want to talk just quickly about Partey, actually. The reason I agree with David, I don't think he's going to be successful at Arsenal. Part of the reason why I don't think he's going to be successful at Arsenal is because I don't think they have no defensive structure. When you look at Partey and how he played at Atletico Madrid, they were under a manager that defensively, system-wise, had it spot on. Yeah, everyone knew their jobs, their roles. I don't think him alone is enough to stand out in games to show how good he actually is. He needs to be in a system where whoever's behind him's at a decent level, and whoever's next to him are also understand their roles in many ways. And with Thomas Partey, I think part of the reason why we don't see the old Thomas Partey is because there's no real understanding defensively. Or when I watch Arsenal, they're just everywhere. They're good with the ball. They move. They go forward well in drabs. But when they lose the ball on the counter, they don't know what they're doing half the time. And I think that's why you probably see that he's not standing out as much in many ways.
Yeah. I think you're right. I look at this game. I know I spoke about it with Lee last night, but I was mainly asking Lee's opinion. We've got 2 big previews coming up this week. We've got the Bet Victor Top 6 show tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Really excited. James Redmond's on the show with us tomorrow night. Got to get that confirmed up today, which should be good fun. We're going to preview it there. And of course, Friday night on the terrace, I think it's going to be an explosive night in the studio in relation to this. But I mean, I like derbies irrespective of where the clubs are. I think they're always exciting games because they are about pride. And that's the one thing I'd say about derbies is why when Man City were a bang average team, derbies, Man United won the lion's share. I felt like we did, but they leveled up on even though Everton and Spurs' record against Arsenal are not great in the Premier League era, there's something about those games. Every now and then you'll see the superior team smash the others, but the games are often quite close, and that's because they are these levelers. So I'm really excited about the game. In terms of Thomas Partey, I think it's like anything. He's just struggling with what's around him. Like legitimately, I think he's a very good football player, but he's got a manager that's out of his depth. He's got El Neni and Xhaka and everybody else. I'm interested to see how the development, the relationship between him and Lokonga goes, but the pressure that's been put upon Lokonga since joining Arsenal. I remember speaking to Christophe Terrer and Sasha in the summer about him, and they all said the same thing. He was a player that Arsenal were looking at, but didn't necessarily want now, but were kind of forced into it because of the attention around him. So they kind of bought him earlier than was expected. He's one for the future. And it's like, he had to start the season with playing games. And it's like, I worry that they've got bang average midfielders and they're going to end up rushing Lokonga in before he's ready to start playing at this level and burn him out. And then you're leaving Thomas Partey with bang average footballers. We were winning Premier League titles. I felt so sorry for Michael Carrick for large parts of his Man United career. He started off at the club playing with Scholes and Hargreaves. He spent large periods in the middle playing with Anderson and Cleverley and Darren Gibson. And it's like, it's harder to elevate yourself when that's next to you. If you look at would Jorginho wouldn't be as good playing with Danny Drinkwater every week and Ross Barkley just in front of him. It's about leveling up. Now I know that Drinkwater and Kante had one very good season at Leicester, but it just clicked. Like at the end of the day, what makes all midfielders better is who's next to them. Gerrard's best period, in my opinion, as a Liverpool player was when he was surrounded by Xavi, and he says Xavi and Iniesta, Xavi Alonso and Mascherano. Lampard, look who Lampard played with. Lampard was amazing, but Makaleli, Ballack, Essien, that elevates you. If Frank Lampard was playing with Lee Catamol, would he have looked as good at all times? Probably not, because the midfield would have been overrun. And then what everyone said, you got run through, you're not dominating games. You need that to balance you. So I look at Partey and I just think he's just, honestly, it's like someone's put diesel in a Ferrari. That's how I look. It's like diesel's been put into a Ferrari there. Super chat here says Arsenal and Spurs would be the 2 boxers in the ring that would go through the rounds, don't land a single punch and still KO each other. I kind of get what you're saying. Do you know what? No, they remind me. It'd be like Amir Khan and Kell Brook fighting now when they're both 6-7 years beyond their peak. I'll be up for the fight, but you just know it isn't going to be. Do you know what I mean? Like watching absolute stars. But hopefully it's an open game. But I don't know. I see both going pragmatic. Seeing both, I can see it being a stinker as much as anything else. But there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back today, 4:30. Myself and Jess hosting the afternoon show. We're going to be having a debate on today's show. Greatness. We're going to be looking at the news, but we're debating greatness. Now, I put a tweet out earlier. I've been getting stick for my views last night. A lot of people saying Sonny bodied me. I disagree. I want to create... I have a standard. I haven't created the standard for great teams yet. I'm still wishy-washy with it. But I have a standard for great managers. You must win back-to-back league titles and a Champions League to ever be put into the conversations of universal greatness. I'm not talking greatness at your club, greatness in a fan base, greatness in a certain competition. I'm talking overall greatness. Back-to-back league titles need to have been achieved and a Champions League. My reason for that is because I want an exclusive club. I don't want every manager qualifying for greatness because otherwise you're not great, are you? If everybody's great, no one's great. Like at school, if everyone gets a gold medal, no one's the winner. If no one's the winner, we're in trouble here. I don't get it, right? So we're talking about that tonight, and we're going to touch on what makes a team great. And again, I stand by what I said last night. There has to be achievements that transcend the majority of other achievements. You have to win a Champions League to qualify, but there are other elements that have to go into it. There has to be a bar. We're going to delve into that in more detail tonight on the Football Terrace. Brian Clough never won back-to-back titles. Well, as I've said, we'll delve into that later. Doesn't mean he wasn't a very good manager. I'm talking about the best of the best of the best. Maybe great is the wrong word. Maybe we need a new word. Maybe it's GOAT managers. I don't know. But elite. I do think elite is to the elite. My point is this. There needs to be a standard achieved that puts manager A, B, and C above everybody else. Because what, for instance, like you can't have Fergie great and Claudio Ranieri great. They're not the same. They can't be in the same category. There's too much differential. That's my point. But we're going to delve into it tonight with debate. Well, about 4:30 we'll be going live. So join us back then. Thank you for tuning in to the packed lunch this afternoon. Smash that like and share button before you leave. Until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all very, very soon.